news. Israel's Prime Minister has ruled out a US-backed proposal for a ceasefire with Hezbollah. Benjamin Netanyahu has just arrived in New York ahead of his speech to the UN General Assembly. The IDF says it has killed today the head of Hezbollah's air division in a precision strike on an apartment in Beirut. Let's get the latest on that now with our Zach Anders, who joins us from Israel's northern border. Zach, let's start with what happened in Beirut this afternoon. Then tell us a bit more about the target of that strike.
It's believed to be one of Hezbollah's air commanders, and already media picking up this around the world, saying a Hezbollah Air Force commander. We got to remember that Hezbollah does not have an air force. They have a sizable drone arsenal. We continue to see that on display here in the north, although over the last 3 days, considerably less drone attacks coming from Hezbollah as they continue to get hit. It's believed through what I understand that some of these drone launch points are more visible targets for the IDF and have been an emphasis of the IDF campaign throughout southern Lebanon. So this is a commander of one of Hezbollah's drone units, and in this strike in Beirut, again, this is the 6th time we've seen a strike in Beirut in the last 11 months. We're hearing reports out of Lebanese channels that some 2 dead, 15 injured in this strike on a lone apartment complex there.
Israel has rejected a joint French-US proposal for a ceasefire with Hezbollah. The proposal was backed by a dozen other countries, including the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. It calls for an immediate 21-day ceasefire. It doesn't mention Hezbollah, though. Here with me in the studio, Ruth Wasserman-Lander is a former member of the Knesset and a research fellow at the Misgav Institute for Strategic Affairs. Thank you for joining us, Ruth.
Very welcome.
We're also joined in the studio by our Middle East correspondent, Ariel Osiran. So, Ruth, this statement put forward by the United States and France, it talks about a ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. It does not mention the word Hezbollah once.
What can I say? First of all, the war is not against Lebanon, and neither the IDF nor the Israeli government, be it what may, does not have anything against the Lebanese people. Second of all, where were all these countries when Israel was incessantly bombarded for 11 whole months, absolutely in a surreal manner, which no other country in the entire universe would have accepted? Not even one rocket, let alone thousands and thousands of rockets, let alone 60, 70,000 displaced persons, children not going to their own schools, mothers and fathers not being able to work, businesses going down the drain, farms.
Another targeted Israeli airstrike in Hezbollah's Beirut stronghold, its 4th in a week. The IDF said it eliminated Mohammed Hossein Srour, commander of Hezbollah's aerial forces. The Lebanese Health Ministry said 2 people were killed in the strike. Hezbollah did not comment. Throughout Thursday, Israel targeted dozens of Hezbollah targets across Lebanon. This included 8 crossings along the Syria-Lebanon border used by Hezbollah to transfer weapons. Dozens of people were killed across Lebanon, according to local authorities, including 23 people in a building housing Syrian families.
Could Israel withhold a sustained assault by the group? Our Fabio Shapiro looks at Hezbollah's estimated capabilities.
This week, Hezbollah shot its first ballistic missile at Tel Aviv, coming as the IDF upped its attacks against the terrorist group.
You hear the jets overhead. We have been striking all day. This is both to prepare the ground for your possible entry and to continue degrading Hezbollah. Today, Hezbollah expanded its range of fire, and later today, they will receive a very strong response. Prepare yourselves.
The missile launched is an escalation from the previous Hezbollah attacks. Since October 8th, the group has mainly used rockets to attack northern Israel, launching an estimated 8,000. But the Iranian proxy possesses a large variety of firepower,
including long-range cruise missiles, heavyweight rocket with 1,000-kilo warhead. This is the same type of rocket that was used in the Majd al-Shams attack that killed 12 innocent children. We also struck a short and medium-range rockets and UAVs, all capable of attacking deep inside Israeli territory and causing major damage to civilian towns and cities.
The IDF and the CIA estimate that beside around 50,000 combatants, Hezbollah has an arsenal of over 150,000 rockets, capable of hitting all areas of Israel. The Center for Strategic and International Studies estimates that the terror group has over 100,000 short and long-range rockets, over 20,000 short-range unguided ballistic missiles, over 150 short-range guided ballistic missiles, and over 10 intermediate-range unguided ballistic missiles, making its capabilities 20 to 33 times larger than Hamas's, besides having a longer range of reach. But it seems both terror groups have a similar way of storing their firepower.
So, Omar, and tell me, who exactly then is crossing the border? Are these Lebanese civilians? Are they Hezbollah fighters? Are they Syrian refugees from the civil war? Give me an idea of who we're talking about here.
Thank you so much, Laura, for having me again. We talk about three parts, who they cross the border. Many Syrians left Lebanon because of the strikes as well, Syrian civilians. Also Lebanese civilians, and limited number of Hezbollah and other militia leaders left for Damascus or other Syrian province to hide there because they still surprised the strikes what happened in Lebanon in the past 3-4 days left them in shock. So they try to hide in somewhere out of Lebanon, at least for this period, because we're talking about like top leaders of Hezbollah were assassinated or killed in the past 2 weeks or 3 weeks, including Radwan unit force leaders and other leaders as well. Every couple of hours we hear about some of them. So those guys who were leaders of Hezbollah militia or other militia, they left for Damascus or other Syrian province just to hide for this period at least.
Welcome back. The Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas has been delivering his remarks to the UN General Assembly in New York, and he claimed Israel did not deserve to be a member of the organisation. Abbas, who has consistently ranked below Hamas in terms of popularity among Palestinians in both Gaza and the West Bank, went on to list his 12 demands from the international community for a post-war Gaza. Here's a couple of them.
The state of Palestine must shoulder its responsibilities over the Gaza Strip and impose full authority and jurisdiction on it, including control over border checkpoints.
And the Israeli Prime Minister has now arrived in New York. One of the first things he did was deny that Israel will accept that US-backed proposal for a ceasefire with Hezbollah. But how much pressure, Mike, is Netanyahu going to be under from the Americans to accept that ceasefire?
I think it's or open to interpretation a little bit, Laura. I'm not sure he outright denied that he'll fall in line with that ceasefire request, but at least for the time being, there's business to take care of there in Lebanon in terms of trying to take out additional Hezbollah commanders, in terms of trying to take out additional missile launch sites. There's no reason I think Netanyahu sees with the momentum on Israel's side right now and Hezbollah under extreme pressure with its leadership ladder being taken out essentially, that he needs to suddenly fall in line with this 3-week ceasefire proposal. Doesn't mean he won't in a couple days. It doesn't mean he won't in a week. But in the meantime, with momentum on his side, I just don't think even under pressure from the United States that he saw the need to just jump headfirst into this ceasefire that would allow Hezbollah to regroup. And even if he does accept it eventually, I think it'll be for a shorter term under different parameters. 3 weeks will probably allow Hezbollah to regroup a little bit.
The mayor of New York City has been indicted on allegations he received illegal campaign donations from Turkey. Eric Adams, a strong supporter of Israel, insists he's innocent and says he will fight the charges. More in this report from Emma Siegel.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams is facing criminal charges after being indicted on Wednesday by a grand jury. While details about the charges have not been revealed, sources say they are in connection to allegations that the Turkish government illegally donated funds to the mayor's electoral campaign in exchange for approval of the Turkish consulate in New York. Adams, a Democrat who was elected mayor 3 years ago, recorded a video message Wednesday night denying any wrongdoings.
My fellow New Yorkers, it is now my belief that the federal government intends to charge me with crimes. If so, these charges will be entirely false, based on lies.